I'd like to show you how to sew in your ends for your headband. Now, you could sew them in like you do for any other project, since by and large, this will be the right side of your headband and this will be the wrong side, the one that has the pearl bumps where you grafted your ends together. And you could just sew your ends in just like you do any other project here on the inside. However, brioche is a reversible fabric. So there is a special way to sew in the ends for brioche, because if you decided to, you could reverse your headband and wear it with the inside out. Say you got a little stain on that side. This side's exactly the same except for your seam, which will probably be in the back of your head and not very noticeable. So for brioche, you've got the brioche stitches. Now let me turn it so they're right side up. So you've got this column of knits, and then you've got a column that looks a little bit like pearls. But if you notice in this column that looks like pearls, you have these slanted stitches on each side of what looks like the pearl bump. So they're over here also. If we sew in our tails underneath those slanted stitches, they will be invisible on both sides. Now, your headband might, like mine, have a little offset here. So what I like to do is take the tail from this side, if you have a little offset like that, and sew it in on this side. So I'm just going to poke my needle in somewhere. This is part art, not much science. Right there, kind of makes that look like another stitch. And then I'm going to go, let's see, through this pearl bump and around the top of this knit stitch, just because it's almost like doing what's called a duplicate stitch, just following that stitch. Now I'm at the top of one of those valleys that has all those angled stitches. And you just sew under, pick up those angle stitches with your darning needle. And if I flip this over while the needle's still in there to show you, you can see the needle a little bit because it's red showing through, but you can also see it's behind a whole bunch of stitches. And when I pull the tail through, because it's the same color as all the other fabric, it nearly disappears on both sides. And you might think that this isn't going to hold your tail because it is pretty loose. If you're nervous about it, just sew the whole tail in there. You just have a long strand in there, but it should hold no problem. Then just trim off the tail and you're done. You do the same thing with the other tail. If you've got a wonky edge, you can use it just a little bit to form like another knit stitch there on the edge. I can show you that again if you'd like. So on mine, it's just a little bit of a hitch right there. So I'll just go through that stitch right there, kind of tighten it up. And then across there. Whoops, I just pulled my needle out. And now I have to go over just a little bit more to get to the valley. I should have left a longer tail. So I've got some of those valley stitches right here. They're upside down. If I hold it this way, they're more apparent. And I'm just going to the right side because I don't want it to be, you could do it on this side or on this side. In this case, I'm going to the side that's a little bit further away from the edge. I just don't like my tails to be so close to the edge. But that's just a personal preference. That's no right or wrong kind of thing. And there we go. I've got both tails sewn in. There it is from the right side. You can't see the tails anywhere. And if I trim the tails, you can't see them on the wrong side either.